Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fili Daily Vlogs. We are Fili Creative. We're an audiovisual company based here in central Kansas. My name is Gus.
I'm Amber.
I'm Tim.
How dare you? I'm Amber.
Fine, I'm Amber.
Things got weird. No, so welcome. So things have continued to get worse as expected. Currently, globally, there's about 875,000 cases and 44,000 deaths.
Oh my gosh.
How
in the
many of
United
those are new cases today?
That is a great question. I don't think I know the answer to that yet.
Okay.
Average number of new cases each day for the last 7 days. It's rising the fastest in Germany, France, Italy, Spain, UK, Turkey, Iran, Canada, and the United States. We're the leading countries with over 1,000 number of new cases each day.
That's crazy.
So I guess if I add those up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8,000. So if I had to guess, we're looking at like 20,000 a day, something
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
Cases globally.
That's horrible.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting kind of talk in the last 24 hours. One of the things that's kind of scary is that the White House and their advisors are saying that if we continue to social distance, we can expect somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 240,000 deaths.
Wow.
In the United States alone.
If we continue to social distance?
And that's assuming that we're doing a great job social distancing.
I don't know.
There's
if
a
you'll
lot
be able
of...
to... Is that backwards? Does my computer invert everything?
Nope, I can read it.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
It's small enough on my screen I can't read it.
So
But
that's right about
25,000.
what I said.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my
maybe a little
gosh.
bit more than I said. Yeah.
Yep, 25,000
Yeah.
new cases.
So it seems like, people have to take this really seriously. It seems like there's a lot of people that aren't. I was just reading about, there like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, a group of 70, it sounded like college kids or young people, chartered a plane to Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
And they got back, and they're all University of Texas students, I believe. And of those, 22 have tested positive for the coronavirus, and they're going to test and try to work with the others. Now, unfortunately, they didn't charter the same flight back. They all flew commercially back. And so
Great.
they've exposed not only themselves, but lots of other people to the virus as well. So there's a lot of stories like that of people just not taking it as seriously as it needs to be taken.
That's crazy.
It's young people who don't think that, because it hasn't really it's affected more specifically the older demographic more harshly. They think that they're completely immune, and they're not. I like on my couple days ago on my walk, I walked by a house. Well, I was on the opposite side of the road, and there was a group of what seemed like, I don't know, 8 to 10 young people hanging out.
They're saying about a quarter of people they've tested that came back positive were asymptomatic. So they're not showing any signs at all. And they're also, I can't remember. I've read a lot of things the last 24 hours, but I was reading somewhere that like before you really show symptoms, you're really infectious already. And so
That's what
by
I've
the
heard.
time, and there's like that 2 or 3 days where it's stuck in one system of your body. I can't remember, and you're basically spewing out the virus. And it's just not good. So, and one of the other concerning things is that we have, I believe, 28 states that are under stay-at-home orders officially, the statewide, including Kansas. But like, there's a lot of, unfortunately, Midwestern states such as Missouri and I believe Oklahoma and Texas that still don't have a statewide order, although most of their population, since they live in big cities, are under stay-at-home orders. But still, lots of risks being taken unnecessarily, I'd say.
I don't know why. I don't understand why people are not taking this seriously.
Yep, agreed. So, I the only other thing I'd like to give as an update that I thought was just really interesting was, so Andrew Cuomo is the governor of New York State, and his brother is Chris Cuomo, who is a CNN news anchor.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Chris, so Andrew Cuomo is really kind of standing out as a leader in the country, and maybe even in the world, as far as he's on CNN for at least an hour every day as part of his teleconference,
Right.
not teleconference, news conferences, just describing his efforts in New York State. There seems to be a void of leadership that that people like he are stepping into, are stepping into.
Him, he, they, them.
He are stepping into, that guy is stepping into. But unfortunately, yesterday he announced that Chris Cuomo, his brother, has come down with the virus. And so last night, Chris Cuomo hosted his show, Cuomo Primetime, I think, something like that, from his basement where he is self-quarantining with the virus. And so it was just a really impactful newscast. The CNN doctor Sanjay Gupta actually, more or less gave him kind of a once-over on live air, just over the internet, just kind of saying, are you feeling, such symptoms, and make sure you're doing these things. And it was just Hannah thought parts of that was cheesy, but I thought it was really, pretty intense. So they are kind of reversing things a little bit. They're saying if you have a mask at home, that it's not a bad idea to wear it when you go out. I think that's mostly because of this asymptomatic spread that's going on.
To keep you from catching particles, at least, kind of, sort of.
And they are trying to encourage people to make their own or use stuff you already have, like a scarf, rather than going out and trying to buy them, because the need is so great within the hospitals. So there was a crazy, I probably can't remember the math, but they were describing if there's 1,000 doctors in New York City, the average nurse or doctor goes through, like, I want to say it was 300 masks a day. Or a week.
My gosh.
Wow.
I can't remember. That. So that's 300,000 that they need in a week.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because they have to change that mask every time they come in and out of a room, I believe, or something crazy
every
like that.
single
Makes
time
sense.
They come into contact.
Yeah. So, do you guys have any other updates on COVID stuff you'd like to talk about?
Not on the disease itself. One thing I think for us, I know that I think we mentioned it in an earlier vlog that the Riverfest was seemingly canceled. I've heard that perhaps maybe they've moved it to just like one day downtown now.
I hadn't heard that.
I hadn't heard it either. A friend of mine had mentioned it.
It may be. I've heard that the Wichita River Festival, they are trying to plan a smaller version. It may be that person was confused.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I do know that Salina Arts and Humanities Commission, which is
permanently closed at the moment until further notice, pretty much.
They're closed, so there's nothing going on over there right now. And the city is making some really big decisions on budget right now. One of the biggest it involves. South of town, there's a manufacturing facility of Philips Lighting, now Evergy, or not Evergy, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, right south of there, the city is building a new wastewater treatment plant, because we just had the one forever, I believe, and so this is like a $50 million project, and they've gotten a lot of the dirt work done, and they're going to try to freeze that, I believe, in order to free up some funds for other things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they said something about possibly not opening Kenwood Cove at all this year, too, in that same breath, pretty much.
And a lot of that is because they don't want to have to hire any part-time staff over the summer. Right. And there's something like 120 lifeguards there, I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
Wow.
But that's crazy.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's really, pretty frightening what's going on everywhere. It seems like every day there's something I hadn't thought about that has to be canceled or postponed or moved out.
Right. I'm going to be really sad if Kenwood Cove is closed up all summer, because I love swimming and I couldn't go swimming at all last summer because I was really pregnant. So being out in the heat kind of sucked. And now I'm yeah, I could go swimming again. And It doesn't look like I'm going to get to.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Just have to swim in your bathtub.
Fun.
Or at least the baby can swim in the bathtub.
Right? Jealous.
Yep, that's
If you could put your brain in a robot and live indefinitely, would you do it?
No. Tempting as it would be to be in that kind of body, I don't, unless they have developed the technology along with that to be able to feel and sense other things other than in a more human manner, I don't think I would. Plus, I really don't want to live forever. I have absolutely no desire to see the world go even worse.
I would encourage
Pessimism.
you to watch Star Trek Picard. That's all
I do still need to watch that. But.
I don't know. I think
that's my answer.
I think I would probably temporarily do it. Like if my body was failing me and there was like something else I wanted to see and or do before I died. Mm-hmm. Like I think I would do that. But I don't know where I would draw the line. I guess I would like stay alive until I got bored with living.
Have you seen The Good Place, Amber?
I have not.
Oh, you need to.
The last season of The Good Place deals with this issue very well.
Yeah, I don't want to live forever. I have absolutely no desire to do that, even if there are things that I would love. Like, the only things I would love to see while being in a robotic body would be the ability to possibly fly into space and
that'd be cool.
Travel at enough speed to be able to see other galaxies and other stuff, like firsthand.
That would be
like
pretty
that
neat.
Would be cool. But I mean, in that case, I suppose living forever wouldn't be terrible as long as I had things to keep me busy. Like if I was floating through space, as long as I had like a massive database and could take in things at the same rate at which my human brain could. That way I wouldn't like get bored super fast.
Hopefully you could just like shut yourself down for a while too, because like you wouldn't it would still take you like hundreds and thousands of years to get around. So you
that being the case, if I have the ability to like shut myself down for like a few thousand years and then wake back up
alive, that would be cool.
Yep.
Then I would be okay with that.
That would be very interesting.
Okay, how about would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 45 minutes early?
45? Oh.
Right.
Gosh.
Right. It's just that being early is just on the other side of painful at that point. Like being
it really is.
Being 20 minutes early, that's not too bad. Being 30 minutes early, that's pushing it. But being 45 minutes early, you're wasting a lot of time. 45 minutes early or always 10 minutes late.
I would always rather feel prepared than behind, and I feel like I've been behind for a while, so I would still go with 45 minutes early.
I have tried to, at least especially while I was in college, I had the mentality of always trying to be at least like 10 minutes early to everything. And I still attempt to do that. That has gone a little lax in the last several years. But I still try to be like as on time as possible. But I think in that case, I think I'd side with Gus on this one. I'd rather be at least 45 minutes early. Like I could bring a book with me or something.
Right.
Like if I know I'm always going to be 45 minutes early, then I'll have something to work on.
Right. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I would rather be 45 minutes early. That just means I would just start everything 45 minutes earlier. I would also have to get really good at like taking my work and stuff with me, because that's a long time to like interrupt something and have to like stop and remember what you were doing before starting something else again. Like,
oh yeah,
that's just. Ugh.
It depends a lot on who you have to be around on a daily basis, because if everybody else is going to be 10 minutes late,
that's true.
You're just going to waste like an hour of your time.
That's true.
You know, if people are relatively punctual, then
I hadn't considered that. If you're 45 minutes early and other people show up 10 minutes late, that's an entire hour now, pretty much, that you have to wait. Ugh.
So I think it just depends on what the timing of everybody else is.
I mean, if everybody were doing 10 minutes late, then that would just be the new norm.
That's true. That was another thought I had.
Oh God!
Like maybe
that sounds awful.
Maybe I would just start like telling people that like the meeting starts at 7:50 and show up at 8. You know, like.
And then you have like a third of people who think it starts at the exact time you said.
Right.
A third of people who think that you're factoring in
the
10 minutes.
So they show up at 8.
So you need to be there 10 minutes early. And then there's another there's another third of people who are thinking you really mean 10 minutes later. Let's just stick with one.
All right. I got a couple here.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
All right. Would you rather have a flying carpet or a car that can drive underwater?
Ooh.
Flying carpet. I don't like underwater. I'm not going to be underwater.
I would take underwater, actually.
I would take underwater, too. Because then I could go anywhere.
And there's so much, as assuming that it can handle the pressure, you could see so much.
Yeah.
Like, there is so much of our planet that is unexplored.
Right. I like the
in
ocean.
the water. Yeah, same.
I wish you both bon voyage. A safe submarine
He'll fly
travels.
over us on his little magic carpet, and we'll like scuba.
A magic carpet ride, a whole new world.
My fear,
I was thinking the different magic carpet song.
My fear would be like falling off the magic carpet at like a really high altitude and just crashing to the earth and dying.
Or getting possibly like sucked into
I'd
the
rather
turbine
do
of
that
some
than
giant
drown.
plane.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I would rather have an instantaneous death on impact than a suffocating, drowning death.
Okay, but
But
like,
what
you
if we
have
find
so
another
long.
civilization down there that has air?
You have so long to think about dying as you fall to the ground. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds terrible.
That's true. Most people die of heart attacks midair. Yeah, it's true. At least I've heard that. Yeah. I don't know. I've always had like a real fear and hatred of deep water. And so, like even with swimming pools, most swimming pools are too deep for me. Like if I can't touch, it's scary to
Man,
me.
he would have never made it in Florida with us when they told us to go jump in the ocean, and then we're like swimming around in this murky water, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, there's a shark out there. You should probably come back to the boat now."
I've done
That and the barracuda.
Yeah.
The barracuda were pretty cool though. They were like as long as we were. They were huge.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like
There's
10 feet
things I
from
like.
one.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
Oh yeah, you'll have to watch that video at some point. The
Yeah, I'd
barracuda's
love
in
to.
there.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Awesome. One
All
of
right.
the coolest things I ever got to do was my sister was a missionary in Africa for 2.5 years, and so we got to go visit her. And we went out into the ocean nearby where she was living, and the area is well known for having whale sharks.
Oh.
And
That's cool.
So we're like 150, 200 feet offshore, and we just jump in this water, and it's pitch black. You can't see anything. It's already, several hundred feet deep.
Yikes.
And then floating in the middle of the blackness, very bright because of the sunlight, is like a 30-foot long whale shark. Right in front of
That's
us.
so
Wow.
cool.
That's
And
neat.
one of Hannah's friends, my sister's friends, she swam over and touched its fin, and then it was gone. It just like disappeared.
That's
and it was
so
terrifying.
cool. Whale sharks are awesome, though. They're, if I remember correctly, aren't they technically like the biggest
Fish,
like
I
the
believe.
largest? Yeah.
They're not big as whales or anything.
Okay.
But whales are whales mammals? I know that was a stupid.
Whales,
thing
I
to say.
believe, are technically.
Whales are mammals.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So
Is it the blue whale then that's supposed to be the biggest?
Yes, they're super
Okay.
massive.
Yeah.
Another fact about whale sharks that's kind of amazing is that the Atlanta Aquarium actually has, I think, 2 or 3 whale sharks
Wow.
in it inside.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
And I feel really bad for them, but they basically just swim in a big circle around their thing. They're with a whole bunch of other fish in a pretty neat enclosure, but that doesn't make it
Yeah.
that much better. So,
It kind of sucked to be in the same environment all the time.
Yeah.
Kind of like this.
We all know. We all understand what it's like to be in an aquarium now.
Oh, God. It's like... Okay, it just reminds me... There's an episode of Twilight Zone in which there's kind of like a human museum on this other planet, but it's not like they've stuffed humans, but it's more like a living... It's more like a zoo. Like, people don't even know until, like, they get there. I think they've been, like, tricked into thinking it's a great house or something.
That's crazy.
And then they find out it's basically just a zoo for, like, these other aliens to see how humans live. And it's crazy. Like, it's a great episode, but...
Huh.
All right, I've got another question.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear Gus's take on this one. I'm interested to hear both yours, but I feel like I might have Gus's...
Okay.
I care about your opinion, I promise. I just don't know how you feel about this.
Enemy, Timothy.
Good. Would you rather have a bottomless box of Legos or a bottomless tank of gas?
What?
One is practical. The other is
Fun.
Honestly, the gas. Like,
See,
I like Legos, but I feel like if I never had to spend money on gas ever again, I could buy all the Legos I wanted.
I've always
That's
felt
fair.
like my creativity for Legos was limited by my supply of Lego.
This is true.
This is why I was interested in Gus's opinion of this one. Knowing his building side, I figured he'd love the Legos.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but Lego are extremely expensive.
They are indeed.
Have you guys seen that new TV show, The Lego Masters?
I haven't yet. I really want to watch it.
So good.
It's really
I actually
good.
have my brother's brother-in-law was a master builder for Lego for a while.
Whoa,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. If you like Will Arnett, you'll like that show.
Yeah.
If you don't like Will Arnett, you may not like that show.
I don't know.
I don't mind him.
I'll say I wasn't like too big of a Will Arnett fan, but like I like the actual show. I like the premise of the show
agree.
enough that it makes up for that.
Yeah, I still need to watch it.
Any reality TV show manages to find experts that have English accents
I know.
in their like. It could be like roiling toilet paper, and there'd be some English guy who comes in and, well, I've been rolling toilet paper for 25 years.
I know,
think
right?
I know quite a...
Oh man, Amber, think if you had a bottomless box of Legos, think of how much Cadmus could build.
You're right. It could be a lot, but also if
Unless
I
he
had
got lost in the
bottomless
box
gas tank, think of how many places he could go see.
I would probably say...
I feel like he's
I would
limited by
choose-
only the United States in that case, unless you can take your car with you.
That's fine. The U.S. is big.
Well, it doesn't specify if it's a car gas tank, does it?
It does not. It does not.
Jet fuel is expensive, Tim. Jet fuel is
Fuel
expensive.
is expensive. Can you imagine me like rolling up to the airport with my own gas can of jet fuel? This is bottomless, you guys.
My jet fuel's better than your jet fuel.
Put it in this plane and give me a free ticket.
Oh man, what if you fell into your bottomless box of Legos though?
That would be painful. A very horrible way to die. Suffocated by Lego. Oh. Yeah, I think I would probably
Lego
go
death.
with the gas, but then I would use my gas budget to buy Lego.
Yeah,
So you're taking the Amber approach.
yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a reasonable answer.
That's fair. As much as I would probably also take the gas simply because I like Legos, but I have never found as much like I enjoy seeing what other people build out of them, and I like the process of building when it's a pattern that's already there.
Yeah.
I have just found in the past, at least when I was a kid, I didn't feel like I was really that creative when it came to building with Legos. Like I always built like a little pyramid or like or a car.
You really, really need to watch Lego Masters. They make some crazy stuff. Like,
Oh, I bet.
I have none of the artistry. Like I can't make it pretty like they can. But whenever I played with Legos, I would always build like I don't know. Like the thing that jumps into my mind is I built this like souped up car that I pretended it was like for like a nuclear disaster or whatever. It's made so it can cruise around. And then I was like, well, what if they need to go like, through a nuclear waste dump or whatever? So then I built like this cocoon that attaches around the car, and it's on skis and treads. So then it can, yeah. It didn't look very good.
I'm pretty positive my brother would take the box of Legos. When he went to college, he took our tub of Legos with him.
Oh.
He also took all of our collection of Calvin and Hobbes. But I got back at him. I have the complete box set now, so nice. Which is super heavy. Like, it's hardback, which is great, but my God, all three of them are so heavy. No, yeah, he took the box of Legos with him, and like he showed me the other day, one of his he went to a family wedding on his wife's side, and I think as a gift they each gave them a custom Lego figure that was, I think, supposed to be of them, or maybe it was just a custom Lego figure or something.
Cute.
And so I guess he issued a challenge to everyone who had one to try and build something based on the one they were given. Huh. And so I think he had a superhero one, or no. I think his was a video game one. So he built a mech. But yeah, I'll have to send you guys a picture of it because it's pretty cool looking. Like I'm jealous of his imagination in that regard. Like I just have never. I have an imagination just for other things. Building is not my strong suit in that regard.
Well, thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Fili Daily Vlog. Hope you're having a good day and hope you're staying healthy. Like we always say, there's more stuff coming soon, so stay tuned. Okay, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can find out the moment we have a new issue, a new
update
edition of the Daily Vlog on YouTube. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Bye.